What's up, guys? 4 months old, 14 minutes long, from forearm bites all the way to bicep bites. This is the first time my puppy has ever bit anything on my body. I do a voiceover during the entire process explaining everything that I'm doing. What's up, guys? I'm going to narrate this entire video. This is Esh, 4.5 months old. This is first time me wearing any bite equipment. Right now, we are having him jump over the jump there. It's not about the height. We're also having him return through it. I'm just programming patterns in his head that he has to hit everything in his path. So turns, and then same thing again. You're going to see a different presentation each time I do this. That was kind of me not in front of him, just off to the side. Same thing here. You're having me go back over, back on the board, staying on the bite while we turn on the board. Outing him here, you're going to see me take the time to put this jump back together. So the way I train is whatever happens, happens. I just play whatever happens the way it happens. So now this is an opportunity for me to have him stay there. Obviously he breaks right here. I stop him immediately. I cast him back to the bed. I turn him back around and I sit him. So I don't reset anything. I just play it as it goes. That time I had my back turned to him while I'm bringing in. So now we're switching from hitting jumps into a bite to just staying on the bite, and me just kind of doing a little agitation, lifting him up off the ground, pushing into him, and I'm having him take me back to the board again. And so in here, we're just going to have him turn, stop, stay on the board, turn, stop, stay on the bite. Now what I'm doing is, these are all the fundamentals that I put into him as a young puppy, because he's obviously still a puppy at 4 months old, but I'm talking at like, 12 weeks old. We're teaching turns on boards, we're teaching on and off the place board, and I'm just getting all this stuff in his mind. So over the jump, straight to me. And again, the ability to get him to go over things versus go around things. Those of you that have tried to train this understand that dogs like to go around objects versus go over them. Those of you that understand that, this all comes from, I don't have to even really train it because it's already been conditioned through just having the dog go over boards all the time. So now I'm having him, he pushed me all the way from that spot, all the way to that board from heel position. I'm having him take me from that board to the next board, driving into me on the bite. Again, turns while we're on the board on a bite, and the same thing there. So he's already getting used to, no matter whatever comes in our way, you go up and over the object, you stay with me, you stay center with me, and you keep driving into me. Now here I'm going to do a recall over this jump. I'm not going to have him bite me. I'm just going to have him come over the jump and then go into heel position and stop beside me. Then I'm going to have him go back to the jump again. You can see the jump is much more narrow. That means more chance for him to skirt the jump. We're already working on turns, keeping him on the bite. Now what I'm doing is I'm messing with him. This is the thickest of an item he's ever bit before. You got to think my whole forearm's in there. He's used to like little tugs and rolls and stuff like that. So that's a lot different with my arm inside there. So while he's pushing in there, you're going to see him kind of work at his mouth a little bit. Every time I feel where he's loosening up, I'm just pulling it out of his mouth. It's very different than when people are teaching grips and they teach the dog to pull. So what that means is they put back pressure on the bite to keep the dog clamped down. Well, I don't want the dog to pull, so I don't use back pressure like that to get the dog to clamp down. The dog has to drive in, so it's a totally different technique and a totally different sensation. This is an angled jump. It's very narrow. If you look in the mirror, you'll see how wide that was for his presentation. And same thing again, I'm just adding stuff in, moving my arm above his head, getting him used to that. Haven't done a lot of that. You'll see me lift him up off the ground to trigger pulling, and then immediately start teaching him to move into me. So same thing again. So what this is doing is this is telling him that whenever you are on a bite or you're working with somebody, if they ever put you in a position that makes you want to pull, don't pull, do this instead. All right, so now we're going to do the same thing again. You see me command it before I even presented. So I'm also getting him used to being commanded to go to the bite before the presentation's there. So we're in the beginning of conditioning passive bites. Even when you see me with him on here, I'm not doing any dramatic or crazy movements. I'm also eliminating him with his head, or not his head, but his feet coming up on me. I do not like the dog to wrap and hold on to me. A lot of people like that. I don't, because it eliminates the dog pushing into you. The only time I like the dog's feet on me is if the dog's actually trying to climb up me to push into me even more. Come on. All right, so now we're just calling to the boards. He bypassed the board, so I'm just sending him back to the board. And same thing here. I think I'm going to call him to this board again. I'm going to stop him in front on this board. Or remember this. Now you see me, as soon as I start activating the sleeve, you can see he like changed his whole behavior. So I'm just also conditioning that no matter what, even if I'm shaking my arm all over the place, you don't touch it unless I command you to bite. And so I didn't change my behavior a lot. You heard me just say his bite command, so there was no really physical cue. I'm just getting him again to understand, pay attention to what I tell you versus what you see. So now we're just outing, biting, same thing again, from board to board, getting turns in there, keeping him moving in towards me, no pulling, activating arm again, making sure that he's paying attention to what I'm saying versus, and this is really good right here, this is what I like to do. So this is just a weird, awkward bite. Again, I just train the dog to do whatever I tell you to do. Don't worry about the fact that my forearm was flipped over in a different position. No matter what's going on, just do what I ask you to do. Another one right there. So we're just flip-flopping back and forth and just kind of messing with them. And so none of this is planned. This is all just from my head. I'm just going through and just working the dog and just switching from thing to thing. There was no preset plans. We'll get into bicep bites here in a minute. I had no intentions on even doing a bite. Yeah, that's right here. I had no intentions on even putting him on a bicep today. Again, this is the first time he's really biting something with me inside of it. You can see he's kind of weird about it at first, not sure where to bite. And then also, this sleeve is an elite canine sleeve. It has a very large patch, and that patch is kind of in the way. And it's not any excuse whatsoever. It's more so just to demonstrate that even when he's weird about specific objects, you're going to see how I work him through this. So I tuck that handle in there. I reposition the sleeve again. It doesn't fit very well on me. He goes to bite my arm, I out him. He goes to bite my hand, I out him. And then I target with my hands where I want him to be at. And I just start working him. You know, as soon as he gets on where I want him at, I just start working him. So doing this, he'll start to understand biting the shoulder results in letting go. Biting hand results in letting go. Biting forearm results in letting go. Biting bicep results in continuing to go. So it's not really, I wouldn't even call it a reward process, so I know a lot of people would. But I'm just going through and showing, like, we don't bite shoulders, we don't bite hands, we don't bite forearms, we bite biceps. And that's really what it comes down to. So you'll see him get more and more familiar with this, and you'll see his bites start coming in better and better. So now I'm sending him to a board, and we're going to put him on the board. We're going to get a turn in here. And then let's see where I go from here. There's a 14-minute video. I can't remember everything I did. Oh, yeah, calling him into heel position. So we're done. I switch gears a lot. So I don't sit there and do the same thing over and over and over again. It is crazy to me how people do that. So now we're just recalling in, and then we did a little bit of bicep bite done, and then we go back into, now I'm flipping him into heel position on the board. So we're not just turning him on the board, we're recalling into heel position on the board multiple times. And then now I think we're going to go back to biting. Let's see here. I believe I call him in front and then represent again. Perfect. So I'm just signaling to him with my hand. Again, touch and movement is how we relay information. So I'm telling him where I want him to go. And he's back on. Again, he's not going 100 miles an hour. I don't teach dogs to go crazy. If you have a dog that is designed to bite, he will bite. I don't need to amp him up, get whips out, agitate him, stress him out, all this other stuff. So I'm just getting him on there, and I'm just getting him used to doing what he needs to do. And you can see his grip is already much better. His understanding is a lot better. And you can see me yanking him off of me, and he's already coming back on same spot again. So this is what I mean by, I don't need to cause him to be crazy. I don't need to do all the stuff that people, you know, say you got to do. And again, I'm not trying to say anything bad, but I'm just demonstrating there's ways to teach dogs to be very strong and very clear without taking them over the top or just really working them up. So everything's just pretty good. You'll see me pulling on him. You'll see me starting to pick him up right there. He gets a little gurgly. He's not really seen that before. I just start throwing stuff at him again. All this stuff is very different from what he's used to. But the fundamentals in the training are the same. I will say that all the time. I'll always go back to everything that I'm doing is a variation of something I've already taught. This also helps with the speed of learning when you can do this and you can just continuously throw different things at him. You also don't see me stopping all the time and like having a play session with him for marking behavior, which means like he bit me, so we mark it, we stop, we play with the ball for a little while, so he likes biting me. No, we practice biting, and we just turn biting into a fun thing, so he starts liking biting. Same thing for heel position. You don't see me like call him into heel position, and then he came into heel position, so I pay him with a bite. I just don't train that way. So now we're doing the same thing again. I'm back on my knees. We're doing squatting on knees, all these different things. Now you're also seeing I've been throwing my bite arm in between me and him and prying against him and pushing him away. I'm already adding more uncomfortable grips, already adding more uncomfortable positions to him to get him comfortable. Now we're adding turns. So now he's got to stay on the bicep and turn with me. But again, this is a huge breakdown of step by step of what's happening. There's a big difference in a training system versus thought process. You know, training system is like, this is how I do things. Thought process for me is like, what do I want to do and when do I want to do it? That's huge. So I always talk about this. I don't ever judge people's training systems based off of people who have gone through their training systems. I look at the individual who created it and I'm like, okay, that makes a lot of sense. But I don't expect everybody who goes to the training system to have the same mind as the creator. That's why you have so many different variations. Well, it's the same for us. That's where eFlow comes in. The F stands for fluid. It's not stuck in stone. You can do whatever you want to do. So we're going from bites to belly rubs again. So, but anyways, I hope this was helpful for you guys. I went through this kind of fast. I hope that helps understand the thought process of everything going on. This is a long session for him, you know. So, but again, I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next video. Oh, actually, sorry. We won't see you next video. We're going to continue with this. So immediately, I've been doing bite, 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 heel, heel, heel. I've been wearing the sleeve. As soon as I take it off, he wants it immediately. So we add more to this. I forgot all about this part, so I'm so sorry. We're going to turn him around. I'm just putting it behind him, having him turn the opposite way. Same thing again. Now I'm going to move it again as a draw to make him want to go. Instead, I'm calling him to it and having him sit on top of it. So this is a variation of how I start teaching dogs to place on objects, or what people would call toys. I start showing the dog how to get on top of frisbees, balls. I mean, you name it, it's there. And I just start developing their place command even stronger just by having them do that. So every time he goes to get that, you're going to see, you know, this is a perfect demonstration. People are like, oh, he just fries them with a collar. No, I follow through with body and movement. So whenever the dog doesn't let go, even though he knows how to out, I help him by engaging with him. So I walk over to him to create an interaction between me and him to fulfill the out and then get him back on track through direction and guidance. I don't just crank a collar up like a lot of people say I do or assume I do. So again, we're doing the same thing now. I'm just having him stay in a front position and move with me over top of it, next to it. We're healing away, all this different stuff. But yeah, so we end with this with don't touch the sleeve anymore. You just can't touch it. All right, so now it's the end of the video. Appreciate you guys. I will see you next video.
Here, out, here, sit. Come here. Oh, easy, easy, easy. Come on. Good boy. You smoked, buddy. Come here. Sit. Heel. Out. Heel. Sit. Good job. How long were you going? All right. Well, I'm tired. You're tired. We're all tired. And you've been burping. So we'll give you time to burp. Okay. Out. Out. Come on. Here. Let's go potty. Good boy. Sit.